see. So, hello everyone, and welcome to Concealed Wine's first live event on LinkedIn. I hope we will start in a few seconds, but first some technical matters. If you notice some issues from a technical perspective on the presentation, please use the chat so colleagues to me in Akshat will report to us and we can try to fix this. For instance, if someone starts to speak and have mute on or similar. All right, so let's getting started. So today we're going to speak about the Swedish wine market. And see. And the idea with this first webinar is to cover a lot of basics about the Swedish wine market, and in particular how Systembolaget purchased wine in the tender purchase process. And I think that the webinar is probably most useful for beginners to the markets, but on the same time, you should not underestimate the basics, because if all would just follow all these steps, they would many producers would do better, I would say, in the tender process. And it's pretty much slides, and we also added a few extra slides. And the idea is not that we're gonna maybe speak about exactly all text in the slides. We want to cover as much as possible in 30 minutes in order to not put all on hold for too long. But we will share the distribution after to all registered participants, so you will get all. And questions is great if you ask during the presentation. Our colleague Mareike, she will take notes of everything, and then we'll have questions and answers in the end. And if we would if we run over too much, we will also put a Q&A part in the presentation and add that we email out later. It is also a YouTube link that I posted in the LinkedIn. I will do it again, or it's posted there. But if someone would face problems with the streaming of LinkedIn, you can go to this link and have a look at it. Anything more I should add now? No, so let's get started. So I will introduce myself. I am Kalle. I founded Concealed Wines together with Simon in 2008. And I work with the purchase and but all the other parts in the company. And I will run this presentation together with my colleague Akshat. And Akshat will soon take over and start with the first slides, and then so let's get going. Akshat.
All right. Hello everyone. Thanks for the introduction, Kalle. So firstly, we will start, like as Kalle said, it's very important in our market to know the basics. So we'll start with basics for sure, and then we will dig in and go to the next step. So I'll go through the agenda very quick. So firstly, what is Systembolaget? We'll talk about that one. Then after that, ways into the assortment, meaning that how the products can get into the market. And then also talking about the most important category, the permanent listing. And after that, we will speak about the blind tasting and how exactly Systembolaget buyers choose the products that will go into the market. And after that, we will give you some advice on how to prepare the best tender offer and some tips to keep in mind. And then, of course, we will speak about our website and the new system, what we have incorporated recently and what functionality is being offered. After that, we will move to the question and answers, as Kalle said, and we will discuss based on that. Okay, so firstly, what is Systembolaget? I'm sure many of you know the answer about this one, but just to summarize, it's the monopoly distributor that covers Sweden as a market. So it's one single buyer who's basically buying for the whole country and then selling in the shops. And there's about 450 stores, and also they sell via the online store. And this is more like a self pickup supermarket style shop where people can go inside, choose, and go to the counter, show their identity card, and buy what they want. It's not open every time, so it's not open in the night after 8, and on Saturdays it's closes at 3, and on Sunday it's completely closed because of course it's a monopoly situation in Sweden. And another important fact about Systembolaget is that they buy only from licensed importers and not directly from the producer. So this is where we come into place. We, as in like importer, concealed wines comes in place. And another fact about Systembolaget is that there is also alcohol-free assortment, but it counts only about 0.5% of the total, and anything above 3.6% is sold at the store, while like low alcohol or beers, which are beer and cider, which are up to 3.5, can be also sold in other supermarkets like Hemp Shop or Lidl or etc. etc. Yeah. So, talking about how the purchase department of Systembolaget looks like. So, we'll give you an helicopter perspective of how the whole structure of the buying department looks like. And there is a category management, like there are about 8 category managers who do long-term planning, who see how the market trends are going, what is going on in the market, how the demand and supply is going, and they plan based on that for the future. Then there is about 10 buyers who do in detail planning of how the tender should be. They communicate with the importers and decide on the tenders. Then there's 2 assistant buyers who answer general questions and give us support for each step. There is, of course, a quality control team that makes sure that everything that is being in the tender is delivered the way it is supposed to be, and they do quality checks on different stages, also after the launch stage. And then there is other supportive functions that help purchase team, example, sustainability division. But we will not go too much in depth about it, keeping the timeline in mind. So we can move to the next. So this is a list which we have prepared of the buyers. Like the manager of the group is Fredrik Ernander. Then we have listed down different names of the buyers. Like for spirit, it's David. For beer, it's Johan and Katrina. And then here you can see on the slide, like for wine, it's based on the country. And some buyers, they handle more than one country. So I will not go in each one and move to the next. All right, so next one is ways into the assortment, which Kalle will take over and describe in detail. So Kalle.
Yes, good job. All right. So if you want to sell wine, beer, and spirits via Systembolaget, how could this be done? The broadest assortment where you have most products is called the order assortment, or in Swedish, beställningssortimentet. And it is today it's about 15,000 products in this, and it's represent a bit less than 5% of the sold volumes in the market. And in this assortment, the importer could list products, and then the product comes up on the list. So if you go to systembolaget.se, you can find them, and then a consumer can order this product. And you don't get any, like a product starts without store allocation. However, if it's sold, like if it's a big demand, it can get a store allocation. And for this kind of listing, the importer can also freely price the product, what the consumer price be in the market. Then we have the exclusive assortment, and it's an assortment where importer can pitch products directly to the buyer, and the buyer can take a buying decision. And mostly it is more expensive wines from more famous regions, or more known brands, or products that for the moment is trendy, but it's more exclusive products generally speaking, and the volumes is normally pallet wise and not that big. And this is a small assortment in terms of volume. And also for this one, it's not a blind tasting. You can present something to buyer, and buyer taste it directly and take a buying decision. Then we have the next assortment, that is TSV. It's called, we call it internally TSV in Sweden, but it's fixed volume / seasonal assortment. And it's a tender process with blind tasting, with some written paperwork, followed by a blind tasting. That's how Systembolaget buy. And the focus in this assortment is on wine, but also beer and spirits in mid to high price ranges. It could be like seasonal products, or products that also are for the moment trendy, and kind of niche products that Systembolaget buy in this assortment. And sometimes they also decide to have a tender process, and then several products could be purchased. And if you are selected, you sign the importer sign an agreement on a fixed volume, and then if product sells well, on many contracts it could be repurchased the year after.
Okay, there seems to be a problem. Let's give it a...
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
I hope everyone hears me.
Yeah.
All right. So the TSV is a fixed assortment, fixed purchase on the volume, and we have this kind of announcements. Not every month, but most months we have this kind of announcements. All right, then we go to the next one that we call FS tenders, like permanent listings. And this is the most important tenders that is more long-term and also bigger volumes. And first, like, what is the permanent assortment? I mean, permanent assortment today contains about 3,000 products. And it is those products with the store allocation. And the importer initially sign a contract on 9 months or 12 months. The 12 months if it's like, for instance, an organic product to start in the market. And then the product could stay in the market. And the focus for the permanent assortment is tenders, generally speaking, for volume products and low and mid price ranges. It happens that it's some in the more higher price levels, but most are for low and mid price level products. And so you start with the product, and then you stay in the market for 9 to 12 months, I said. And after a time in the market, the product is evaluated. And given that it sells well, it could stay much longer in the market than the guarantee period. And so what is important in to be selected in this tender process? This is, I put here FS tenders. It could also be for the TSV tenders. But it's important to understand that Systembolaget, they select products and buy products, and when they taste products, they focus on a style profile that is written in the tender description. And this is crucial to understand and take this in consideration when you offer products, since you have to offer products that meet and both the technical criteria but also the taste profile. Then when Systembolaget ask for products, they put the minimum volume requirement. And the minimum volume requirement is volume that you have to secure in order to you have to secure it, and if you win, you have to be able to meet this volume. And that volume have to be exactly the same product as you send to the tasting. And this is very crucial and important to understand. And it's important also to understand that the minimum volume is not an estimation of the volume that will be sold during the entire contract. And so this you have to take into account when you do the offer. And the best is to ask the importer. The importer can most certainly give you a best estimation on the volume. And then when it comes to samples should be prepared as final products. So it's many times Systembolaget asks for young vintages on wine, for instance. And it's important then to still, even though the wine is in different tanks, to blend them together and do, stabilize the wine and filter it as you intend to do with the final product. Normally, for a wine product, Systembolaget asks for two wine bottles, and spirits also, and 3 for beer. And then importer normally ask for a few extra. So if we have a wine tender we normally ask for 1 or 2 bottles extra, depending on the opportunity. But what's important to understand is that even though we ask for, it's a tender for a bag-in-box or for a can or a pouch bag, it's in most cases okay to send the samples in a glass bottle. And also the sample could be with a temporary sticker on. So it's not that you need to send it in a bag-in-box format, for instance. And then I put a small note that it's important to understand the deadlines with samples and also have a bit of margin. And it's very strict, generally speaking, with deadlines in the market. And it's very sad when you worked on a project together with the importer, and then in the end something got stuck in the custom and takes 2 days extra, and then you miss the deadline. So it makes sense to have a bit of margin here, and then also send it with a good courier to be able to send a track number to the importer. And then 2 more things. It's volume tenders today in the market. Normally, when it's like 50,000 liters plus for wine, you have we call it A classified, and we put it in our communication to our partners pretty clear. But for those tenders, it's a document called guarantee of supply. And in this document, you have to demonstrate that you actually have secured the volumes and where the volumes are. And this document is super important to fill out correct and really make sure all the details are correct. Because if you win, you have to support this document and demonstrate that it is this way. If it will, for instance, be an audit and Systembolaget want to call it quality control. So guarantee of supply, this is called, and you can have that in mind. And then I put a small note, understand the launch plan, and I put levande. Levande is Sweden, it says living, or that might be a bit Swedish quick translation. But so we're going to focus a bit on understanding this. What's the launch plan, stage of a tender, and then a tender got published. So you understand this, how it works. Akshat, I leave this one for you.
All right. Thanks, Kale, for describing so nicely the assortment and different things. So now, as you said, it's very important to understand basically what levande is. Like as we translate levande to English, it's living, and how it becomes to a published tender. So in this example on the screen, what you see basically we have on the most right side the launch, which is September 2023. So this is an example where all the launches taking place on September 2023 can be described. So we'll go backwards on it. So if we start from the first thing, is like when exactly does an importer come to know about this tender? So basically tender is all the description of the requirements, so that will come out in between January and June 2022, where the buyers would indicate what exactly they have in mind to start looking for. And this will not have all the final requirements and not everything would be described. So let's say they will say, okay, we have in mind, we want a white wine from this particular region, but then the volumes are not defined or the price is not defined. And then the tender is open for discussion. So between the time the launch plan, the tender is let's call it like half, 50% of the information is there, and then the time when it's published, it's a time gap of about 8 to 9 months, and um, after that the tender would be published on January 2023. So usually it's in the third week of January or something. And on this date, we get the final information. So the final requirements on the region, on the volume, on the price, if there's any requirement on the, like lightweight bottle or etc. etc. This is for wine. While in beer, which style, for spirits, which kind of uh, country it should be from, or etc. etc. And then after on this date as well, what happens is that the deadline for paperwork would be given and the deadline for samples would be given. So these deadlines are very important, meaning that we have to meet those deadlines together, the producer and the importer. And then on the deadline of paperwork, we ask for a simple form to be filled out, which can be done online or can be done via email on a Word document. Later, I will also show you about the company website and how you can do it. And then based on this offer, which you will send to us, to Concealed Wines, basically we will revise, translate, and make the final offer to the monopoly. And once Systembolaget gets this offer, they review it and they say whether they want the samples or not. Most cases, the samples go to the tasting, and then we ask you for the samples and we give you a deadline, let's say in April 2023. And then these samples have to be sent to our Stockholm office, and then from here we send it to the monopoly. And generally speaking, the result comes out in let's say the deadline is in beginning of April, so the result is out by end of April or May 2023. And between that time, once the result is out and the launch, we have a few months of lead time in between, which we use for placing the order, for preparing the launch, for doing the different steps for getting everything on track. And normally the time frame between the result and the launch is about, let's say, 4 to 5 months. But at least 4 weeks before the launch date, we want the the product in our warehouse. And based on where you are located in the world, like we place the order. Like if it's in other side of the world from USA, then it takes more time to reach us, while if something is in Europe, like from Germany or France for instance, then it comes faster. Another important point to note here is about the A classified tenders, where we have guarantee of supply, and the purchase process is a bit different for this one. We, as Carl indicated, that this important document, guarantee of supply, is needed. And the tank location, the exact tank location, has to be given on that one. So the time between deadline and the final results is only about 7 days. So the process goes very fast. Like on the top where you see the arrow example, that's for a normal permanent listing FS tender. While for A classified, the timeline between deadline paperwork, samples, and result is normally 7 to 8 days, where we submit the samples, and then usually by Wednesday and then by Friday or the next Monday, we already have the result and we know if an audit will take place or not. So this is a general timeline based, and the launch plan could happen in January or in February or in June. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think the reason why we want to highlight this about the volume tenders that normally is A classified is because it's a kind of many are afraid, or when I meet a lot of wineries, especially those that have a kind of high turnover of kind of stock, they are think it's problematic that they have to secure the volume for a very, very long time. And the point is, like, many times, and I understand this, but many times if you look on the time we really have to lock the volume for the volume tenders today, it is not more than about 2 weeks. And given that they have good, the producers have good communication with the importer can, you can prepare everything, and then you can decide just before if you're going to go for the tender or not, in order to not, like, just because you're going to complete the tender in 14 months time, you will say no to all other opportunities, because that is doesn't have to be that way. All right, so we're gonna go quick. I see that we run out of a bit of time. So about the Systembolaget blind tasting, I prepared a slide for this, and everything is in this slide, but I will take it very quick. The point, like, Systembolaget, they blind taste products, and they taste product on a style profile, and it is crucial to be in line with that. And then how they score and the number of tasters, you can read yourself. I will send this after on email to everyone. But since we are a bit behind the schedule, I will not go in more to this slide right now. But have that in mind. Read the style profile and make sure that you are in line. Like, if they ask for hints of oak, or you have to propose something that actually include that kind of characteristic in the taste profile. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to be selected. Good. Then we will. So what kind of advices do we have for those of you that are producers? I mean, when it comes to the preparation of a tender offer, we put together a small list, and it's probably, we can probably do this list much longer, but we selected a few things that we think it's crucial in order to work in an efficient way in this market. First, it's important to understand and read the technical criteria together with the taste profile before you start and make an offer. And on the technical criteria, I mean, you have to meet it. If it says that the tender says Rosso di Montalcino, that is what they ask for. You cannot offer another classification within Tuscany unless it's said in the description. If it says that it should be a maximal 5 grams of residual sugar, it couldn't be higher, etc. So, and this is, I mean, it's basics, but you have to meet all. And then that comes to this, and then is that you're going to do all the paperwork correct and avoid any type of mistakes, because if you do that, it's a risk that it will mess up the coming steps. Then the other one we've spoken about is the minimum volume that you really have to secure. If you win a contract and you have said that you have the minimum volume, and then in the end you don't have it, you will not be able to like, even though the products sell well in the market, Systembolaget will not allow you to continue with the next vintage the next year. So it's a big problem if you don't, if you cannot deliver the minimum volume that you that was asked for in the tender. And then when it comes to pricing, I mean, Systembolaget, they put price brackets, and then the importer calculate backwards and give you kind of X works or FOB price normally, or we do at least. But it's, of course, even though it's a blind tasting, the price has a matter in the market. I mean, and you should, like, if you propose 50,000 liters, you should consider, okay, what is the value to propose this volume as minimum volume, but also understand what is the real potential of this project. How tight could I price my product? So that is another thing that you should bear in mind. And then samples we have spoken about, but prepare samples as final product. It's crucial. And then send them with margin. And this is also like, don't do all the other steps and then mess up this very last step, because it will be annoying for you and also for the importer. And then the guarantee of supply document, it's super important, and it could get troubles later on with an audit. And here, an importer you work with that propose a lot of tender, they will be able to help you and make sure that this is correct. So spend a bit of time on this in the end. Then a few other advices about those that wants to enter the market. First, I think the understanding of the market is crucial in order to work well with, first, I mean, to maximize your chance to actually be selected, but also when it comes to work in an efficient manner in the market, and also to build a good kind of communication and business-to-business contact with the importer. And then also understand that this is a very mature market. It's a high competition, and to get in and also to stay in the market, and do a bit of understand that and have a kind of long-term strategy when you get into it. And then HoReCa. To sell to restaurants is a very common question you get as an importer, and importers have the possibility to sell directly to restaurants, but I would advise suppliers to have some kind of idea, okay, but what will be the investment from the supplier side in terms of marketing or support if you want to push the importer to sell to restaurants. And then we'll leave it from there. I put customer orientated. And what I mean here is that in the market today, we have several trends on, for instance, sustainability and also on climate friendly packaging. And if you understand the market and you can be customer orientated and try to understand, okay, but could I, so I can bottle in can, PET bottle, pouch, bag-in-box, find solution of this kind of problems, or also listen to the different certificates that the market asks for. If you can solve these things, then you will be able to go for much more opportunities in the market, but also be able to go for a more proactive approach to the market, and also together with the importer discuss earlier and in a more proactive way with Systembolaget as a client. All right, so now we're gonna spend, let's spend 2-3 minutes, not more, on these slides, and then people can discover themselves, and we share this presentation. Okay.
All right. So now we get to the last section of our agenda today in the presentation, so which is Concealed Wine's website. I mean, the suppliers who have been working with us already might have noticed, like in the last few days, that the website looks a bit different. So we'll go through what exactly is in the website and what changes have been made or extra features have been added for our customer service to our suppliers. So here you can see in the slide that once you open current tenders, you have country pages, and then you can see the information on each tender and all the requirements which are given. So on the left side, as you see, like it's France, Spain, Italy, Germany, Portugal, Austria. And then when you go to the website, you can find the country. If you don't find for wines, if you don't find the country on the page, you can go to other countries and find it there. For beer, spirit, ciders also, we have a separate page. Moving to the next slide, so basically what difference is now on the website, that we have added a sign-in feature where you can sign up for free, and that way you can get more personalized updates and access to our online submission field, and with some extra features, like you can see on the right side that you can submit and monitor tender offers. You can have your profile and fill in all your details. You can subscribe to new tenders and follow existing tenders. What this means, basically, we will go through it one by one. Moving to the next slide. So this is about subscriptions. So if you make an account, which is absolutely free, you can also use your Facebook or LinkedIn page and go in. And then once you subscribe, once you go to your client area, you can go on the subscription side, and then you can choose which kind of product you sell, what country you're from, and based on if it's for wine, then the region will also appear for some countries. You can choose the country and which markets, like meaning that all markets like Sweden, Finland, Norway, where we work in the 3 markets, and then you will add a subscription. And basically what will happen is that when a new tender comes for that particular region, you will get a notification by email that a new tender has arrived for this particular region, what you have signed up for. And it's not that you can only do one subscription, but you can also do 2 or 3 subscriptions. Like if you are an agent and you want to subscribe to different regions or to beer, spirit, cider tenders, and you're curious to know about different new tenders coming in, so you can subscribe to different things. And note that all this is free of charge, so there's no fee for this thing. Moving to the next one, like tracking tenders. This basically means that, let's say that you're interested in this tender which you see on the screen, like Albarino from Rehab Access, and you want to get notified if a change has been made to the tender, especially for the Levante tenders. When changes are made regularly on a monthly basis, you want to get notifications on them. So you can go to the tender and you can press a star. So you see on the right side of the thing that you press a star, and then once we make any change on the tender, let's say the region is changed, or volume has been defined, or price has been defined, or vintage has been decided, so we will add on the website and you will get a notification by email. So which is really a cool feature, so you can go into it. And here on this slide you will see an example, like on the right side where it says apply for this tender. So basically you go to the tender you are interested in. If it's open and you see the dates, etc., and all the requirements are matching 100%, you can just click the apply for this tender button and fill in the form. What will happen next is that we will get one copy of the form, and you will get a copy as well, and then we will start the process from there. And it's easy. And then also on the right side you have submit interest request. So if you don't want to make the offer that time, you can just click on submit interest request, and then we receive your message, and one person from the purchase and import team will contact you back and help you out with the next steps. So that was all a little bit about the functionality of our updated new website. I think we can move to the question and answers now.
Yes, and I think it's the website. I mean, we have added a small login, and we will restrict more and more information. I mean, we will add a bit of more functionality, but also you will be able to get all. And as said, you will see when you come there. But if you just click login, you will. It takes a few minutes, and then you stay on the same page. But great also if you send us feedback how you find the website. We are very happy with this update. Okay, so I put some relevant links also. We should not go through them now, but you have it. For instance, a link that is good is to sales statistics. Systembolaget have a great page for this. You can download a lot and see countries and products and etc. everything. But you have that, and then yes, thanks a lot. Good job. So I put us like this instead. We have received a lot of questions, which is great. I will answer some of the questions here, but since it's much more questions that we will have time to answer, we will put together all these questions. We will add them in the presentation and put it as questions and answers. But the most common questions I will answer. First is like, is it any kind of fee if you don't meet the minimum volume if you win the tender? No, it's not a fee today if you win a tender with, they ask for 25,000 and then you of some reason can only sell 20,000. But the point is it mess up your relationship with the importer and Systembolaget. and that is problematic. But it's no fee that that you will get, and then unless the importer you work with have some kind of agreement they want you to sign where you this kind of fee exists. And then it's another question like, okay, but can I propose products via more than one importer? And this like it is a yes and no answer, because it's the point is like, if you propose exactly the same product via many importers, only one offer will pass to tasting. As simple as that. If it's a big tender and then you propose unique blends, that is obviously, I mean, it is unique blends, it's different blends via a number of importers. You can do that, and depending on the competition on that tender, Systembolaget will decide how many of these unique blends to bring to tasting. But and I think that the best would be to have a open dialogue with the importer and ask, and the importer can also give advice on it. And from my own point of view, when I get that question, I answer in the best way and how to do it. And I think most importers will be able to do it. But so it is for sure it is possible. Then when it comes to one question, how do we guarantee the price for 8 months given the monthly quarterly glass price increases? I mean, when we win a tender, we have to stick with the same prices for the guarantee period, so the importer cannot change the price. And then and normally we expect the same price all that period from the producer as well. And Systembolaget, they do not state anything about I mean, they don't consider if the supplier side get higher costs during this period of time. It's a problem on the supplier side. Okay, so let's see. For example, can we have an indication of the volumes? Then it's some questions about the timeline stated. And the timeline we stated, it was just an example, the months stated. I mean, we have this launch plan, and then 4 times a year we have announcements of the published tenders in January, June, March, June, September normally. And then sometimes we have longer time frames as well. So the months indicated is just to give an approximate explanation about the length of the timeline.
Then there was also one question regarding the timeline between the result, between the submission of samples and results. So that's approximately 4 to 6 weeks for regular tenders. Sometimes it comes faster, and sometimes it takes about 5 to 6 weeks. So that's the timeline.
Yeah. And then when it comes to I took it wrong. When it comes to someone that put on if we have some examples of the required data for tenders. I mean, look on our website. I put on the link. And then from that link you can find. And then if you have some other questions or you can email me on this link. And then we can you can email questions. But for now, since we have passed 15 minutes more than what we agreed to, so we don't want to take your time more. But all the questions that was collected by Mareike, and I will check with Mareike that she collected the all questions. We will put all in the presentation, and we will email this. So we will put it after the last slide. And then if it's something that comes up after this and you want to ask something more, then I put my email in the chat. So then drop me an email and then I will make sure to reply on the question. Good. I don't have anything more to add. I was a bit nervous before this event. It was a much bigger interest than what I thought and Akshat. So, but now it feels good. Akshat, you want to add something?
No, it was great to describe what we do and exactly describe in detail about Systembolaget and things, and the interest was much bigger than we expected, so which is really good. A good amount of questions, everyone, and we will definitely answer them in the end of the presentation and get back. And then you have our contact details, so if you find anything which you want to discuss about, then you can reach Kale or my email address. You can find it on our website as well in the team page, etc. So yeah, thanks everyone.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys, for taking the time to listen to us, and have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao, bye.